The clamor for the release of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi NNAMDI KANU, keeps getting louder by the day. From several quarters, many respectable leaders, groups, and elder statesmen have called on the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to release the Biafran agitator who was arrested by the Directorate of the State Security, DSS, in Kenya on June 21, 2021. Since then, he has been in DSS detention. KANU was charged to court by the federal government, and despite rulings by both the High Court and Court of Appeal ordering his release, nonetheless, he is still in DSS detention till date. Recently, KANU dropped the hint of a new approach when he said that he was exploring an out-of-court settlement in his case, to which the trial judge, Justice Binta Nyako, responded that it was in the province of the Attorney General of the Federation to consider and not hers. True to it, a couple of days ago, Senator Eyinaya Abaribe, representing NNAMDI KANU's Abia South Senatorial District, led other senators from the Southeast geopolitical zone known as the Southeast Caucus, 15 in all, to the office of the Attorney General of the Federation to demand for KANU's release.
The matter concerning Mazi NNAMDI KANU and the continued legal wranglings concerning his incarceration. The Southeast Senate Caucus, all leaders of the Southeast feel that the release of Mazi NNAMDI KANU will help in dousing all the tensions and everything that is going on in the Southeast. Any senator in the Southeast is very willing. The governors are willing. The business leaders are willing. The clergy, they are willing. So the traditional rulers are also willing. So I do not think that anything will stop us if it comes to that. And he has also assured me that he is ready to fulfill any conditions that are put that will lead to his early release.
Also recently, on the 24th of June 2024, to be precise, 50 members of the House of Representatives drawn from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country had equally appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to use his executive power to release NNAMDI KANU from detention. In their letter, the lawmakers who represent different political parties and geopolitical zones believe that Mr. KANU's release is an important step towards restoring peace in the Southeast. They hinged their request on Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution, which gives the Attorney General of the Federation the power to continue cases based on public interests, the interest of justice, and the need to prevent abuse of legal processes.
It's also there under Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution that government can discontinue, and grounds for discontinue is national interest, public interest, and I represent the people. Likewise, my brother, other lawmakers from the Southeast, we can't go home most of the times. There's insecurity everywhere. People are being killed. Businesses are affected. Foreign remittance to our place is going down because people are leaving those rural areas. So it's a matter of public interest and national interest. So I'm pleased with the decision of the Federal High Court today. It's already there under Section 17. And it's also there under Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution that government can discontinue.
The Southeast Governors Forum has equally resolved to meet President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to seek the release of NNAMDI KANU. This was disclosed in a communique issued at the end of a closed-door meeting held in Enugu State. According to the chairman of the forum, Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodimma, who read the communique, the forum also resolved to tackle insecurity in the Southeast.
To discuss the pressing issues, all pressing issues concerning the Southeast region. The forum also deliberated and resolved to interface with the federal government to secure the release of NNAMDI KANU.
Though no date has been fixed, this is the first time the Southeast Governors Forum would publicly announce a plan to seek the release of Mr. KANU since he was rearrested and repatriated to Nigeria from Kenya. It will be recalled that the Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, led by its president, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, elder statesman and Ijaw leader, Chief Edwin Clark, Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Igboho, and Anambra State Governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, have at various times called on President Tinubu to release the Biafran agitator to douse the tension in the Southeast in particular and Nigeria in general.
Release NNAMDI KANU. Stop politics. This guy didn't do anything. Today is 27 February 2024. Release him. Let him go and stay with his family. This guy just fights for his people in the Southeast. Like me, I'm fighting for my people in Yoruba land. Release him. Let him go. Stop politics game. Release KANU. Let him go home. Please, release him.
Last February, the South and Middle Belt Forum, comprising the Afenifere, Middle Belt Forum, and PANDEF, had called on President Tinubu to release KANU since the Ohaneze Ndigbo had promised that they would work with him to restore peace in the Southeast region. Calling on President Tinubu to release NNAMDI KANU, President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, Chief Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, said that his continued incarceration did not portend goodwill, peace, and unity for the country. Iwanyanwu argued that a presidential directive for NNAMDI KANU's release would reassure the Igbo-speaking state in Nigeria that Tinubu was a listening leader who had the feelings of the people in his heart, adding that such a step would also reduce the crime rate in the Southeast.
Many Igbos have reviewed the matter very critically, and we are of the opinion that NNAMDI KANU doesn't deserve the type of punishment it's being given. NNAMDI KANU, like all youths in Nigeria, expressed their unhappiness because they believe the lack of opportunities. They believe there is discrimination. They believe that things are not the way they should go. They are not happy. So we are appealing to the government because today is no more a judicial issue. And I'm speaking for Igbos. We believe that this matter is not political. We don't want people to talk about going through the court process. Court process can last the next 5 years. That means our son will be busy for 5 years or so. I think this is a political matter. And I want the president to use political power to get it released.
For his part, on Saturday, 29th June 2024, Mr. Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, called on the federal government to release KANU. According to him, there was no reason for the continuous detention of the IPOB leader, given that a Nigerian court earlier acquitted him, although that acquittal was overturned by the Supreme Court. Mr. Obi said KANU's detention was what had brought about insecurity in the Southeast and therefore called on the leaders to act on the security challenges faced in the country.
I don't see anything why his continued detention, quite frankly, especially as the courts have granted him bail. Government must obey the law. Rule of law is an intrinsic asset that we must cherish and live with. And I've said I'm going to discuss with every agitator. And I use the same opportunity to play to government to ensure that all those who are in similar conditions are released and discussed with.
One of the strongest cases to have been made for NNAMDI KANU's release was by the human rights activist, politician and media influencer, Senator Shehu Sani. Speaking during an exclusive interview with True Vision online television last October, Sani recalled that, like NNAMDI KANU, he had been a political detainee, a fate he said President Tinubu could have suffered for his pro-democracy agitation had he not fled the country during the Abacha era.
NNAMDI KANU remained in prison. The more the cause he is fighting for is being flourished by his own detention. Tinubu is a president that came from the trenches. He is one of those who fought for democracy and freedom. And I believe, if not for the fact that he went to exile, he could have ended up in prison with us in the 90s. Then someone of his own stature cannot be lectured about democracy or human rights, because we are all in the trenches fighting. So my expectation is that the problem cannot be solved by keeping the leader of the struggle perpetually in prison. You don't solve the problem.
He added that the best way to resolve the Biafran issue was not by leaving KANU in detention, stating that the longer he remained in detention, the more the issue he had raised suffered. In his opinion, NNAMDI KANU should be invited for discussion and negotiation.
You can only solve the problem if you discuss the problem. For the period which NNAMDI KANU has remained in jail, it is enough period to solve the issues which he has raised and to make the issues which he has raised irrelevant. You can't keep a person indefinitely in prison and thinking that problems cannot be solved. The issues he has risen are fundamental to the unity, prosperity and progress of Nigeria. Let's look at them. They are the ones that are not practicable. We keep them aside. Who was NNAMDI KANU? He was someone who at first believed in Nigeria. He believed in the unity of this country. And I've seen some videos and photographs, whether they are true or not, at a certain point of his life was even championing Nigerianness outside of Nigeria. What happened at a time when he flipped over to agitate for secession? What happened? And have we addressed those issues? These are the points which we have to tell ourselves.
Similarly, former president of Aka Ikenga, the Association of Igbo Professionals, weighed in on NNAMDI KANU's continued detention.
Nigeria is on the dock. Our judiciary is on the dock. Our judiciary is on trial before the whole world. And what is the case? The case of NNAMDI KANU. I was a lawyer. I'm still a lawyer to Ohaneze. And each time we go there, all we see is hounding. Like judgment has been written, you're only trying to put in facts to lead them on.
For some people, they do not see anything wrong with NNAMDI KANU's agitation, noting that it was the marginalization of the zone that had fueled the secessionist agitation.
If we really were doing rule of law, the court have said release him. Why are you keeping him? What led to agitation of that Biafra nation? Meaning it sends injustice. The Igbo, the southeast extraction are not carried along. In the space of Nigeria, and we have seized your political zone, recognized by the constitutions. Okay, you do your presidential rotation, you leave people alone, you put them on suspend, because there was a military history that gave birth to the Biafra history.
I will advise the government to release him, because the court have already given judgment in respect of that. The court have ordered them to release him, so he should be released.
Mr. Femi Ajemuga also added that the Yoruba nation, Oduduwa, are also clamoring for their own nation too, and to him, he sees nothing wrong with that.
If the system is working, KANU will not be saying that the Igbos want to go. It's not like when we said the Oduduwa Republic today. If Nigeria is working, everybody will stay together. But the system is not working.
Mazi NNAMDI KANU was arrested in 2015 under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. The Court of Appeal Abuja on 13th October 2022 held that the IPOB leader was extraordinarily renditioned to Nigeria and that the action was a violation of the country's extradition treaty and also a breach of his fundamental human rights. The court therefore struck out the terrorism charges filed against Mr. KANU by the Nigerian government and ordered his release from the facility of the State Security Service. But the government refused to release the IPOB leader, insisting that KANU could be unavailable in subsequent court proceedings if released, and that his release would cause insecurity in the southeast, where he comes from. Ironically, the opposite has been the case, with a number of groups in the area known as unknown gunmen hinging their violent activities on his continued detention. Will Tinubu order NNAMDI KANU's release? The world is watching. Aneboyebere reporting for True Vision Online Television, a platform that democratizes the media space.